Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Kopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotra Shatashesha Madhasvain Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Were you saying earlier, Javita Prabhu, how you go to Canada? Is it? Oh, okay. Okay. Toronto. Okay. You're going soon, huh? Oh, you just went? Oh, you're going today. Okay. Give you the verse. Okay, so fourth canto, until creation of the fourth order, chapter 17, Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth, text 6 and 7, but we'll just chant 6. Yachchanyarapi Krishnasya Bhavan Bhagavata Prabhu Shavashu Shavasa Punyam Purvadeha Katashayam Yachchanya Rapi Krishnasya Bhavan Bhagavata Prabhu Shavashu Rashava Punyam Purvadeha Katashayam Would you like to chant?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Word by word translation. Yat, which, cha, and, anyat, other, api, certainly, Krishnasya, of Krishna, bhavan, your good self, bhagavataha, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, prabhu, powerful, shavaha, glorious activities, sushavasaha, who is very pleasing to hear about, punyam, pious, purvadeha, of his previous incarnation, kata ashrayam, connected with narration, bhaktaya, unto the devotee, me, to me, anuraktaya, very much attentive, tava, of you, cha, and, adhoksajasya, of the Lord who is known as Adhoksaja, cha, also, Vaktum arhasi, please narrate, yaha, one who, aduyat, milked, vanya rupena, in the form of the son of King Vena, gam, cow, earth, imam, this. Okay. Translation. Prithu Maharaj was a powerful incarnation of Lord Krishna's potencies. Consequently, any narration concerning his activities is surely very pleasing to hear. And it produces all good fortune. As far as I'm concerned, I'm always your devotee as well as a devotee of the Lord, who is known as Adhoksaja. Please therefore narrate all the stories of King Prithu, who in the form of the son of King Vena milked the cow-shaped earth. Purport. Lord Krishna is known as Avatari, which means one from whom all the incarnations emanate. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 8, Lord Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Thus, Lord Krishna is the origin of everyone's appearance. As far as the material world is concerned, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva are all emanations from Krishna. These three incarnations of Krishna are called guna avatars. The material world is governed by the three modes of nature, and Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva respectively take charge of the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Maharaj Prithu is also an incarnation of those qualities of Lord Krishna by which one rules over conditioned souls. In this verse, the word adhoksaja, meaning beyond the perception of the material senses, is very significant. No one can perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead by mental speculation. Therefore, a person with a poor fund of knowledge cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since one can form only an impersonal idea on the strength of one's material senses, the Lord is known as Adhoksaja. I'll just read one more. Sutta Goswami continued, when Vidura became inspired to hear of the activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnations, Maitreya, also being inspired and being very much pleased with Vidura, began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. Purport. Talk of Krishna Katha, or topics about Lord Krishna or his incarnations, is spiritually so inspiring that the reciter and hearer are never exhausted. That is the nature of spiritual talks. We have actually seen that one can never become satiated by hearing the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. Both of them are devotees, and the more Vidura inquires, the more Maitreya is encouraged to speak. A symptom of spiritual talks is that no one feels tired. Thus, upon hearing the questions of Vidura, the great sage Maitreya did not feel disgusted, but rather felt encouraged to speak at greater length. Om Gyanativedandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karidavachalam Pangam Langaite Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitaranam Pancha Kalpatrubhishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. I hope so. I was thinking about changing the microphone, but anyways. So, Krishna is known as Adhoksaja, which means that he cannot be perceived with the material senses. So, sometimes people would ask Prabhupada, "Oh, have you seen God?" It's funny, but somebody asked Bhakti Sundar Swami that at the Krishna Lounge, in the talk section. Actually, it was Adridarna. Yeah. He asked, "Oh, have you seen Krishna?" And then Bhakti Sundar Swami said, "Well, if I told you, would you believe me?" But he said, "Well, I'll tell you a story." And he said that he was down in South India, and he was, what's that place? Famous place? Yeah, I think it was Tirupati. And the famous deity there? Yeah, Balaji, yeah. So he was down there in South India. He was on a tour actually with His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. And they, had got special darshan of Balaji because, actually he told me that, or he was saying that Jayapataka Swami has some disciples down there who are part of the temple. And so they had special darshan. And then at one particular night, when Bhakti Sundar went to sleep, he had a dream. And in the dream, Balaji appeared to him. And he said that, "I'm very pleased with you." And he said, "Please ask for a benediction." And then Bhakti Sundar Swami said, "My dear Lord," and he was offering, obeisances and prayers and this, and he said, I don't want anything from you." Maybe we should try to change the mic, huh? I'm not sure if that's going to... Now it's not working at all. Oh, it works, just a little. It's a little not as loud. So Bhakti Sundar. Balaji appeared, and he said, "Please ask for a benediction." And Bhakti Sundar Swami said, "Well, what can I ask? I mean, you're giving me your darshan, dear Lord, so I don't want anything from you. That's all. I'm happy with that. And then he said, but then he said, no, Balaji said, no, please ask something. I insist. Please ask me for something. And then Maharaj said that Balaji said, Maharaj said that, well, he asked for something from Balaji. And what he asked for, he said, please let me have Radha Krishna Prem in this lifetime. And then he said that Balaji, with his hand, touched him on his head in the dream. And then he said that he woke up and he felt like this heaviness on his head, And he said that he felt it for some time. And he was like, he woke, and he was very emotional and whatever, crying, this and that, and emotional when he got up. And then that during the next day, he was leading the kirtan, but he was like really enthusiastic, leading the kirtan. And then afterwards, and he just kept on going. And then afterwards, Jayapataka Swami went up to him and said, oh, you seem so different today, like something happened. And then, you seem very ecstatic. What happened? And then he said, well, I don't know. And then Maharaj said, no, tell me what happened. And then he said, okay, I'll tell you, but, don't tell anybody. And, then he had a dream, that he told him how he had the dream. And then Jayapataka, oh, wow, that's amazing. And then he said within, a short time, Jayapataka Swami was telling everybody, and everybody was going up to him and, please, put your hand on my head like this, they're asking for his blessings. So that was his answer to has he seen Krishna. He said, well, I guess so, because he came in my dream, So, but yeah, in general, it's not so easy to see Krishna. We have to be qualified to see Krishna, and even have entrance into, like, people go to Vrindavan, people go to Mayapur, people go to so many holy places, but really, like Prabhupada said, Vrindavan's for reducing the demands of the body and increasing one's Krishna consciousness in so many different ways. And he said, or else what's the use of staying in Vrindavan? Prabhupada said, you might as well go to hell and live there. And also, I said this a few times, but it's an interesting little. Also, it has to do with dream. It's also another devotee having a dream. So this devotee, he was living in Vrindavan and he was participating in the 24-hour kirtan. So, and he was a young man. And 24-hour kirtan, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people coming in and out of the temple. A lot of people from Delhi, from Vrindavan, locals, and also devotees, visiting devotees. So, there's a lot of people. So he would be singing, and all these people would be surrounding, and of course, they were seeing him sing. So sometimes he was thinking in his mind, different things about, people seeing him singing and, trying to impress people like that. So in this particular dream he was in the temple in the dream, in the Vrindavan temple, and he went up to the Murti of Srila Prabhupada. And the Murti of Srila Prabhupada began to speak to him in the dream. And he said, Prabhupada said that, I'm very pleased with you. I'm very happy with you leading these kirtans in Vrindavan. Please continue. And then Prabhupada said, but if you sing to impress women, he said you'll go to hell. That's what Prabhupada told in the dream. So then the boy, he woke up, and after that he kind of tried to, cool it a little bit, mellow his profile, So Prabhupada told him that. But yeah, generally to really see the spiritual master and what to speak of Krishna, yeah, it's quite challenging. And therefore, there's a process in which we could see Krishna. And the process is Krishna consciousness, but specifically there's a verse that describes what is the main two aspects of this process. It says, what's that? Ata. Oh, Hare Krishna. Welcome. Where's Bobby? Okay, good. Oh, this is Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavid Gram Indriya Sevanmukhe Jivada Swameva Spratada. So this particular verse, it's saying that one cannot perceive Krishna with the material blunt senses. Now, what's the definition of blunt? Maybe someone could look up in the dictionary. Yeah, yeah. Inadequate. Inadequate to perceive something. So blunt means different things. In New York, sometimes people are said to be blunt. You know, this is a different meaning of blunt. Like, I was just on a side note, I was there in New York with my spiritual master, fortunately, and we're going from New Jersey, where we're staying at a devotee's house, to Manhattan. And then we're in the car, and all of a sudden there's one of these workers, you know, those workers with the bright, orange vests on. So our driver, I don't know, he's doing something wrong or something like this, and then the worker with the orange vest on, he yells at him, hey man, keep on going, get going, you're spacing out, whatever he tells him. And then my spiritual master says to the driver, he says, oh, I was waiting for that, I was very happy. I thought I was going to come to New York and not get that, New York, flavor. And then the driver, this devotee, he said that he saw a comic. And the comic was that in New York, it was differences between California and New York. So he said in New York, people will tell you, hey, hey man, or whatever, hey lady, go to hell, And what they're saying is, they're saying, oh, have a nice day, That's like, hey, have a nice day, But they're saying it like that. But in California, they'll say, big smile on their face, oh, hey, have a nice day. But they're really thinking, oh, go to hell, So that's the differences, between. Anyways, that was a comic it said. So that's a definition of blunt, and of course in different circles, blunt could. Anyways.
Saying or expressing something in a very direct way that may upset some people.
Yeah, blunt. So, but blunt, in referring to this verse by Rupa Goswami, said the blunt material senses, it's referring to inadequate, or just they're not able, to do the task of seeing Krishna. So, one cannot understand Krishna with the blunt material senses, but by engaging the same senses, the same very blunt senses, in the service of Krishna, Krishna reveals himself personally. So what are those two ways in which we engage our senses in the service of Krishna, according to this verse? Yeah, by tasting prasadam, food offered to Krishna. So it's not ordinary food. Food offered to Krishna is not ordinary, it's transcendental to prasadam. So by tasting prasadam, by honoring prasadam, and by engaging in speaking about Krishna, chanting Krishna's name like that. So what happens there? The senses become purified, spiritualized, and then Krishna reveals himself. So the reason why one cannot perceive Krishna is because the senses are not spiritualized or purified. And as soon as the senses become purified, one's able to see Krishna. Just like, Krishna will not just appear in anybody's dream, or Prabhupada just won't appear in anybody's dream. I mean, actually, sometimes we're talking a lot about dreams today. But Bhajanarayan Swami, this is the third dream in one talk. Wow, it's a dreamy talk, huh? Anyways, Bhajanarayan Swami said the other day there was another dream. So we had the Balaji dream, we had the Prabhupada dream. Now this is another dream of Ganapati Swami. He's one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. He's in here in America, and he distributes book at the Grand Canyon, this and that. We'll say for the third time, Jamal's mother got a book at the Grand Canyon recently, so from Ganapati Swami. So apparently there was a tourist there, an American tourist, and as just a typical American guy. He had the shorts on, had the whatever, the hat on, and this and that. Tourist, and he was walking by Ganapati Swami's book table. And Ganapati, and then all of a sudden this tourist, he goes up to Ganapati Swami and he goes, "Oh, that's him," and he's pointing to Prabhupada. He said, "That's him," and then Ganapati Swami said, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And he said, "He's been appearing in my dreams numerous times, and I had no idea who he was, but now I'm seeing him here, and what he's been telling me in my dreams, take these books, take these books." So then, the man bought the books. So Prabhupada appeared to this man in his dreams somehow. Special, somehow or other, he had that mercy. I mean, sometimes Prabhupada doesn't appear in devotees' dreams. He just appeared in this random guy's dream, so it's special mercy. So yeah, the idea is to purify our senses, and therefore we need a process to purify our senses. And the opposite holds true, that if we engage our senses in materialistic ways, maybe somebody could get him some prasadam. Somebody's going to get you a little prasadam now. Yeah. So if we engage our senses in material ways, then the opposite holds true, that it will become more and more and more and more and more and more difficult to perceive Krishna at all. To the degree that we'll think, oh, what's the use of chanting Hare Krishna at all? What's the use of, visiting the temple and seeing the deities at all? What's the use of taking prasadam at all? There's practically no use. I mean, if the senses become so materialistic and so covered by ignorance and passion and all of that, then that's what we'll think. So in other words, engaging too much in non-Krishna activities, or whatever, taking too much food not offered to Krishna, listening to too much media or this or that or music or so many different things not related to Krishna, doing so many things not related to Krishna, it actually covers our senses, and it covers our ability to remember Krishna at all. So when it comes down to it, I mean, we shouldn't really have any excuses, like why not just take nothing but prasad? That's not very difficult. And even if somebody's not on some, whatever level that they can't cook all their meals and they can't, this or that or, whatever, then fine, just whatever you have, whatever you ingest in your body, just offer to Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna, say some prayers, whatever. Because that prasadam has a special value, even just recognizing it, even on a, you could say, more basic level, offering our food. Taking things that are offerable too. I mean, some things aren't offerable. So that's important as well. I mean, there's these devotees in Calcutta, super sweet people. I mean, I went there, I visited his shop. My friend brought me to his shop in Kolkata. Kolkata is very difficult to walk around in. It's so busy and so many people and just not very organized. But anyways, I went there. And later my friend told me that this particular person, I mean, he's a devotee. He chants Hare Krishna, you know, he does everything. But he has a very difficult time giving up a particular type of food. And you know what that food is? Both of you picked mushrooms? Both of you said mushrooms?
I said fish.
Oh, fish. Yeah, fish, you're right. Fish. Oh, you said fish too. Okay, so both of you said fish. Okay. Both of you are right. So fish. And in West Bengal, I mean, fish is a big thing, actually. You know, they call it, right? It's like, you know, the river Ganga. You know, Ganges is going by Ganga. So they call it sometimes, people, they say, oh, it's the Ganga Fall. You know, it's like the fruit of the Ganga. Anyways, that's what they say. So they're very attached, and they have a difficult time giving it up, actually. When my friend became a devotee, became a vegetarian there in Kolkata, vegetarian means he wasn't eating fish. I mean, everybody was just shocked. They said, oh, how did you do it? You know, how did you give up fish? You know, it's like, really, you know. So, but he gave it up. So this person, he's a devotee, but he just couldn't give up fish. And what he tried to do, is he tried to offer his fish to Krishna, you know, like on the altar and everything, at his house. So then my friend who was, you know, preaching to him, you know, Nam Hatta or whatever, little, you know, they have little groups that preach. He heard about it, he said, no, you can't do this. Okay, you may eat fish, but you can't offer that to Krishna. You know, Krishna doesn't want that. So, you know, this attachment that he had to fish. I mean, anyways, it's... One devotee, he comes here, he said that he was on business in relation to fish. He was on business with somebody, a Bengali. And this man from Bengal, you know, they were there, and somehow or other where they were in India, they didn't have, I don't know, they weren't serving fish at the restaurant or whatever. So then the guy, like, he pulled out his wallet, you know, and then he went to the bathroom or something, and then like he left his wallet there, and my friend, he looked at the wallet and he said that he opened up the wallet and there was a picture of a fish there, you know. He was like feeling separation from the fish, you know, so he couldn't eat it, so at least he had a picture of it. So there's certain things that aren't offerable to Krishna, so we should know, you know, what are the things offerable to Krishna, then we should offer them, and then, you know, have them. It's simple, not very difficult if we put our minds to it. I mean, the highest definition is prasad. The highest definition given in the Bhagavad Gita and the purport is food prepared by devotees, Vaishnavas, offered by devotees, and then, of course, accepted by devotees. That's, you know, that's prasadam. But anyways, that's the so by engaging in the process of hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, our senses become purified, and we become so enthusiastic that we do not tire from hearing about Krishna. It doesn't bore us. It doesn't tire us. It completely enthuses us, hearing about Krishna. Chanting our rounds, it's completely enthusing. It's energizing. It's not like, oh man, this is really you know, difficult, boring, tiring. It actually energizes us. And like, just like example of Maharaj Pricket in the Bhagavatam, he was hearing from Shukadeva Goswami for how many days? 7 days and nights, just hearing. He wasn't doing anything else, but he was completely focused on it. His mind wasn't going here or there. He was completely focused on hearing because he was so enthralled, with Krishna. So that's the standard we want to get to, and we could do that gradually by developing our attraction more and more and more and more to Krishna. And a big thing and a very important thing in relation to developing our attraction to Krishna is association with those who are attached, attracted, absorbed in Krishna. Or practically speaking, it's almost impossible. Because bhakti, from our acharyas, it's been explained, Vishnu Chagvati Thakur and other acharyas, that bhakti, where does bhakti come from? Bhakti is produced by bhakti. It doesn't come from any other source. And who has bhakti? Devotee has bhakti. A devotee has bhakti. So where do we get bhakti? We get it from a devotee. Where do we get our enthusiasm? We get it from a devotee. And then in turn, when we're enthusiastic and when we have bhakti, we give it to others as well. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it said that he would go through South India on his preaching tour. He'd be chanting Hare Krishna, absorbed in, Krishna and ecstasy, crying, and everybody was just completely inspired by seeing him. And it said that they would just see him and they would start, crying, and they would develop love of God right there. And sometimes he would embrace people, they would develop love of God. And it said that those people, after being infected, Krishna infected by Lord Chaitanya, they would go to their towns, their cities, their places, and what would they do? They would Krishna infect others, They would inspire others in Krishna consciousness. They would give that to others. So that's where it comes from. It comes from, so we have Prabhupada, right? Prabhupada came to America. He gave bhakti to so many, right? And in turn, they distribute it, and they are distributing it as best as they can to those who aren't Prabhupada disciples, and then it goes on and on like that. It's a transcendental chain of a disciplic succession of inspiration. So yeah, we should try to avail ourselves of devotee association. Why? So we could be inspired in Krishna consciousness and come to these nice, very lofty levels. So does anyone have any questions or comments about?
You said too that Krishna incarnation is so spiritually inspiring that the reciting hero never exhausted.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see during the class that everybody's not off.
Well, one thing is, sometimes devotees, devotees are very active, during the day. In general, even I think for a lot of people, devotees, reduce their, even just to sleep 6 hours a day. Sometimes for people, that's like, oh man, you guys just sleep 6 hours? That's it? What about like 8 or 10 or 12 hours? By the way, Prahlad Maharaj says in the 7th canto of the Srimadbhagavatam, he says that if you sleep 12 hours a day, that's 50 years of your life. Why? Because that's, half of the day, and that just adds up to 50 years in a 100-year span. That's 50 years of your life, 12 hours a day. And then he says, so much time in childhood from 1 to 20, right, we're, kind of whimsically playing and, this, boys and girls, whatever. And then in the old age, our health isn't so good. We're lamenting all the things, we could have done, we shouldn't have done, right? So many desires. We have to take care of this, take some of that, family concerns. And then when you really boil it down, how much time does a human being really have? It says he says there 10 years. Based on that that program. Now, of course, if one reduces their sleep, they have more time. So that's the idea, to reduce it, at least to some degree, reduce it. Of course, it's a little challenge, and then it takes practice. But so yeah, sometimes we reduce it to 6 hours, and people, that's that's not enough, and this and that. That was the one thing I thought of actually when I joined the temple. I was thinking, oh man, you guys only sleep 6 hours? Like, how am I going to do that? Like, that's kind of like challenging, you know. I don't know if I could do that. But then I just, you know, it was fine. But aside from that, you know, devotees are very active during the day, you know, mentally, physically, and whatever their services are, depending on their services. And also sometimes you don't even get sick at night, you know. Sometimes I know there's some program, late night program, this or that. So if we're not on a completely transcendental platform, then, you know, we may be affected by all that. And after all, we are in the material world. We do have a material body. I mean, so that's there. But aside from that, it's also the question of course, the speaker. You know, how enthusiastic they are and this and that in terms of, you know, keeping people awake and themselves staying awake. And also how much attraction the audience has for hearing. I mean, some, you could say, have attraction more than others to hear. So that's there too. But when we talk about like personalities like, you know, Maharaj Prickett and, you know, all these different types of personalities, I mean, you know, they're on just a whole nother level of absorption. Like the 6 Goswamis also, sleeping an hour and a half a day. And even when they're sleeping, says that they're engaged in, you know, Krishna's service, actually. Like, another dream, sorry. Raghunath Das Goswami said that, you know, he would sleep an hour and a half a day at most, and sometimes not at all. But he went to the doctor, apparently. This is what I heard, my spiritual master said it. And he said that he went to the doctor came and, you know, was checking him out and seeing how he was and this and that. And then the doctor said, you overate, you know. And then some of his followers were kind of, what do you mean he over? You know, he's Raghunath Das Goswami. He hardly eats anything. He eats like a little buttermilk, you know, once every day, once every few days or something. How can he overeat? So then Raghunath Das Goswami said, actually he's right. He said, last night when I was resting and I was, you know, participating in, you know, Krishna's pastimes, he said there was a big festival there was a big feast. And I had too much sweet rice, you know. So he's yeah, in his dream, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, 6 Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, Shukadev, all these different personalities are on a whole nother level. So of course that should be inspiration for us, but it may not be so easy to have that. So therefore, sometimes sleeping.
I think there's more to it.
Okay.
I think that there's also that aspect, because we're reading, and you mentioned how, you know, King Prickett, he wasn't sleeping, he wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, and yet he said, just keep on going chanting. He wasn't feeling that he wanted to sleep. So, as it said right at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Shushushyo, that's this word I keep bringing up, you know, which Prabhupada translated as either 2 ways: submissive oral reception or ardent hearing. So the mind, you know, the material mind operates in a certain way, and that is, it's very interested in, you know, it's through the senses, it's scanning. Is this pleasurable? And then it goes for that. Is this painful? And it avoids that. Sankalpa vikalpa, sankalpa vikalpa. So this philosophy and this program is against that. In other words, it's challenged to the usual way that the mind is. And so the mind is rather than being ardent in hearing, it's ardent in trying to block it.
Yeah.
And one of the ways of blocking it is putting you to sleep. Because nobody falls asleep in prasadam.
Yeah.
You notice? As soon as prasadam comes, everyone's very awake. So it's not a question of not having enough sleep. It's not having enough taste. Ruchi,
Yeah.
Krishna Gata. Otherwise, there's several verses, it says it's never satiated, never satiated. Go on chanting, like Lord Chaitanya. You know, they go on chanting. Eventually they said, no, we have to go home now, you know, go on chanting.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect to it also.
Yeah, because even if one has little sleep or somehow, sometimes these festivals, there's little sleep, this and that. But then when the kirtan comes, when the japa comes, when, then you're energized still, even though, so. I wanted to read these prayers that Lord Chaitanya chants in front of Rath Yatra, but it says that there's 8 prayers that he chants before. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is Mahanidhi Swami's Jagannath Puri guidebook. So, 1, he says, Manima, Manima. It says, while Lord Jagannath moved from the temple to his chariot, Mahaprabhu loudly proclaimed, Manima, Manima, an Oriyan word used to address a respectable person. It basically means, oh my Lord, I offer you all my honor and respect. Chaitanya Charitamrita 2:13-14. And then this other one, Hari Hari Jai Jagannath. I guess in some ways it's not, and it was this full-on prayers or something. During the parade, Ganga wandered through all 7 Sankirtan parties, dancing madly. In euphoria, the Golden Lord sometimes beheld his beloved Jagannath, lifted his beautiful arms above his head and roared, Hari Hari Jai Jagannath, all glories to Jagannath. Mahaprabhu's movement during Rath Yatra were totally unpredictable. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya jumped high in the air while dancing. Sometimes the devotees ran alongside Mahaprabhu singing with the Lord. At other times, Gauri just collapsed on the ground offering dandavats before Lord Jagannath. Then lifting his tear-soaked lotus face toward Jagannath Swami, Mahaprabhu folded his hands and offered the following 4 prayers. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanataya Cha, Jagaritaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Krishna, who is the worshipful deity for all the Brahminical men, who is the well-wisher of cows and Brahmins, and who is always benefiting the whole world. I offer my repeated obeisances to the personality of God known as Krishna and Govinda. Jayati Jayati Devo Devaki Nandano So Jayati Jayati Krishna Vishnavamsi Pradeepa Jayati Jayati Mega Shamala Komalango Jayati Jayati Prithvi Bharanasha Mukunda. All glories to Devaki Nandan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All glories to the light of the Vishnu dynasty. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose bodily luster is dark blue like a rain cloud, and whose body is as soft as a lotus flower. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared on this planet to deliver the whole world from the burden of demons. All glories to Mukunda, who can offer liberation to everyone. All right. Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janavada. I'll just read the English. Sri Krishna eternally lives gloriously among the Yadu dynasty, and he is the ultimate resort of all living entities. Sri Krishna is known as the son of Devaki, the son of Mother Yashoda, whose second name is Devaki. Sri Krishna is eternally served by the members of the Yadu dynasty, or the cowherd men of Vrindavan, with his mighty arms, or by his devotees like Arjuna, who are just like his own arms. Sri Krishna kills the demons and destroys the misfortune of all living entities, moving and inert. With his blissful smile and beautiful face, Govinda always increases the lusty desires of the damsels of Vrindavan. May Sri Krishna be all glorious and happy. Yeah, Naham Vipro. I do not belong to any caste. I am not a Brahmin, a Kshatriya, not a Vaishya or a Shudra, nor am I a brahmachari, a householder, a vanaprastha, or sannyasi. I identify myself only as, what does he say? Yeah, the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis, who is eternally effulgent, complete ocean of nectar, and the very cause of universal transcendental bliss. All right, so there's 2 more. Seto Purana Nata Panu. Yeah. I have gotten the Lord of my life, for whom I was burning in the fire of lusty desires. While dancing before Jagannath's cart, especially during the late afternoon, Mahaprabhu immersed in his own internal ecstasy, and often sang the 2 lines above while thinking, let me take Krishna back to Vraj. Yeah. You know that one? Oh, okay. Okay, so this is the next one. That very personality who stole away my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlight nights, lit nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vatasi tree. That is my desire. So, yeah, you want to chant that one? This is the last one. You want to chant it on the mic for the? Want to chant on the mic for the?
Priyaksoyam Krishna sahachadikudu chetamalitas tatahang saradha tadidhamabhayo sangamasukham tatapyanta kelan mododamolari panchamajushe manomeka lindi pulanavapanaya spahayati.
Nice. So it means, Srimati Radhika said, "O Saki, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but still I would like to go to the bank of the Kalindi," means Yamuna, river in Vrindavan, "beneath the desired trees of the forest there. My mind wishes to delight in hearing Shyam's sweet flute," Krishna's sweet flute, Madhura Murali, vibrating the fifth note within the forest of Vrindavan. All right, nice. All right. So he chants those before Rath Yatra. So we're having Rath Yatra tomorrow. So anyways, something about Rath Yatra. All right, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.